This is a 2006 Sorento, a Kia, and I'm going to show you where the real secret place where the oil leak comes from. I've already changed the valve cover and it turned out not to be the valve cover. It turns out to be at the end of the valve cover there are four rubber and steel caps that mount behind there. And so I'm going to try to get access because it's been leaking right on the exhaust and smoking the car out. And so I replaced the cap, but it went in crooked and I couldn't get it back out, so I just left it in crooked. But it appears that it's popping out again, and that's I'm going to take some pictures of it before removing it, and I'm going to try to find a better way to install where it goes in evenly, and I'm going to put it in with some Permatex kind of stuff that'll hopefully hold it in better. This is a picture sticking the camera down between the engine and the firewall. You can see the cap is in crooked, and I've covered it with silicone. You can also see where it's leaking underneath. Some of it might have been wiped off already, but you can see there's a stream of oil coming down, so that must have been the culprit. Okay, this is the cap cleaned up. It looks like on the inside it's got metal of some kind. I'm going to drill a hole and put a bolt so I can get it out if it goes in crooked, and also maybe help me line it up to get it in perfectly. So I used a fender washer to get the center point and hit it with the punch, drilled it and tapped it, and found a bolt to go through, and decided to use the fender washer and leave it on the other side. This looks like the original Permatex, similar color anyway, so we're ready to try it. So there she is in, went in perfectly, nice and even, and rubbed around the edges. It felt perfect. Well, I thought I should explain more. This is the streaming oil. If you look very carefully, you can see there's a stream. Originally, the car smoked for years, and nobody could figure out what the problem was. The dealer tried to fix it. And anyway, I put stop leak in it when I changed the oil, and the cap actually came out. The cap had been leaking, but at this point it completely dropped out, and at that point there was a stream of oil coming out. Major leak. And so that's really when I discovered the cap and the missing cap. Here you can see the amount of oil on the manifold and exhaust pipe, and this is the picture when I first discovered the cap missing. Well, these are the caps that go on the back of the just where the cover meets the head. How this came out, I just don't know. But it was completely missing, not just leaking, but the whole cap missing. And everything feels, there's no gap where it's loose. So maybe the rubber rotted away. Anyway, I'm going to try to put it in without having to pull the whole engine apart. I'm just giving you a little history. So this is the first attempt to put the plug in. I found a plug in a kit I had bought with the head gasket, which came with all the seals and everything. So I was lucky I had a cap to put on. And so there it is going in, and you see it's not sticking out very much. It was just slightly crooked. But when in the end it popped out. Yeah, here I tried to photograph some of the other caps, but they're almost inaccessible with things bolted over the top of them. And there's the oil down on the bell housing to show how much oil is. I think this is a shot of removing the plate and getting better view of the plug. I removed the transmission pipe with the dipstick to get access to this cap that's down in here. I'm going to take a picture of it now. Yeah, so this was the picture of showing it was leaking too. Cleaned it all up and put some silicone on it. This is on the this is on the driver's side, away from the muffler. Well, I should say that this was not the best fix. I would have liked to use the better hard Permatex than silicone. But I checked it just today and it doesn't seem to be leaking, so that's a good sign. But I really wanted to get in there with an ice pick and drive it into it and pry it out and put in the fresh ones with the good Permatex. But there's just not enough room to get in there. You can't swing a hammer. I don't know, maybe at an angle. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do next, but I hope this video was helpful to others.